Well, g'day guys and welcome to Studio Water. My name is Michael. I work for Seqwater. Seqwater, the people who provide water to southeast Queensland, our bulk water from dams and streams and aquifers and things. And I'm here today to talk about something else today about water. What I want to talk about is how much water do you eat? Yes, how much water do you eat? And you're saying to me, we don't eat water, we drink water. Well, I want to talk to you about something else, because when we go home of an afternoon or in the morning or any time that you might be at home now, we use the water out of the tap and we don't think too much about it. It's quite incredible. We turn the tap on, we use it, we have a shower, we go to the toilet, we water the plants, we give the dog water, we might do all sorts of other things with water. We'll have a wash, have a clean, especially with all our hands now, we keep them clean. But that's all visible water. It's actually visible. We can actually see it. We see where it's being used. But there's a whole lot of water that I'd like to call invisible water. And this is where how much water do you eat comes in. I was thinking about having some lunch soon, and I was thinking about a banana. And I found out that to produce one banana takes about 500 litres of water. Now this is about a litre of water, 500 litres to make one banana. You think about a bunch of bananas, that's a lot of water to make it, and it's incredible. If I compare the amount of water, for example, a 4-minute shower, you imagine yourself being in the shower for just 4 minutes, that is 36 litres, 36 of these. 10 minutes in the shower is 90 of these, and if you're in there for 20 minutes, 200 litres of water for 20 minutes in the shower. So have a think about that. So one banana that I'm going to eat today has taken 500 litres of water to grow. An avocado, I love avocados. 600 litres for one avocado. A tomato, 400 litres for tomatoes. So we need lots and lots of water for all this stuff that's out there. Now, you might say, well, you know, we don't really have to worry about that. Well, yes, we do, because that's part of the water in our world. Our water, there's only this much in the world. It's the same as it was at the time of the dinosaurs and before, and it's never going to get any more. We know that the water's going around with the water cycle, and we have to use it very carefully. But in times of drought, we don't have enough. In times of flood, we have too much. But in between all that, we've got to think about looking after our water and making sure that we can maintain it and keep it, because only of that water that's on our planet, only 1% is actually drinkable. The rest of it, we can't use. And if you think about it, if we go without water, you imagine today, just a small period of time if you didn't have water around you. Think about all the things that you've used water for today. Unbelievable, and it's really important. And it's even realer than that. If you think about a t-shirt, a simple, humble t-shirt, just a t-shirt made of cotton, 1,400 litres of water to make that t-shirt. And a pair of boots, that's even better. A pair of shoes, just a normal pair of shoes, about 14,200 litres of water. And one more, an egg, the tiny little chicken egg, 97 of these to make one chicken egg. And you're saying to me, you are mad, you are stupid, because how can I put 97 of these into one little egg? Well, it's got nothing to do with the water going into the egg, it's what happens around the egg. The dear old chicken, does the chicken have to drink? It sure does. Does the chicken have to eat? It sure does. And what does it eat? It eats grain. And where does the grain come from? It's a crop. The crop's got to grow. And what do we need for the crop to grow? Beautiful H2O. So we need water for all those things. So visible and invisible. And it's very important that we can think about all those things and how we need to use water especially well in these days when the climate is changing a bit. And we don't know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. We can't rely on the rain. Once upon a time, we could say when it was going to rain, but our seasons have changed a bit. The climate is changing, and we know there's all those things happening, and it means we've got longer droughts, we've got shorter periods of time when there's rain, so therefore we need to think about water. So at Seqwater, we look after making sure that we've got that water, and we take it from our 27 dams or so, and our water treatment plants, and then we clean it up and we get it out to you guys. But those dams are no good unless we have rain that falls. So the reality is, if we don't have rain, we don't have water. And I hear you saying again, oh, it's going to rain all the time. Well, we've been in a lot of droughts recently. 10 years from the early 2000s, we've had a millennium drought. And even in the last number of months, it's been very, very dry. Our dams are down to about 65% or thereabouts at the moment. And if we're not careful, we will get to a stage where we have to think about how we use our water. So, you know, whether you have a 4-minute shower or whether you turn the tap off when you clean your teeth, all those things are important. Have a think of this one. When you sit down tonight to have dinner, the reality is that the food that's on your plate, made up of some salad, some chicken, some meat, some other things, some vegetables, all of that food together will have taken 3,666 litres of water to make that one plate of food. So if you've got 3 or 4 people in your family has eaten nearly 10,000 litres of water at their family meal tonight. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you that we can't eat. I'm not telling you that at all. And we know that we need water to grow things, and it's able to be done. Don't worry, there's all sorts of water sources around. But we need to be aware of it. We need to be aware of where that water is used. So it's not just the water, the visible stuff that we see in around us every day. It's the invisible stuff. And the invisible quantity of water that we don't think about that's out there is quite incredible. Even a sheet of paper, just a simple sheet of paper that I might use, 11 litres of water to make one sheet of paper. So if you're writing lots of things at school on lots of sheets of paper or running things off on the photocopier, that's incredible. Now, I know we can use all that, and I'm not saying we can't, but I just need you to be aware of the amount of water we use. If you're aware of it, then every bit of water that we use, we'll be more careful about. So what we're going to do today is, in a minute, I'm going to show you a little video first that talks about how much water we actually use in a lot of things and how we need to think about it more. And then after that, I'm going to come back and we're going to do an activity, a special activity where you can think about how much water you use every day and what you might be able to do to just keep an idea of that and become more appreciative of it. So remember, water is important. Without it, we can't live. But we need to think about where it's used and how important it is and all those things that we have. Because without it, we don't have that stuff. Talk to you again really soon. Well, did you have a look at that video? Quite amazing, isn't it? Quite amazing. You know, a bowl of rice takes nearly 1,400 litres of water to make, because the rice has got to grow. Cotton uses a lot of water to grow. All the things that we wear have cotton in it. The leather that comes from animals, the meat we eat, that comes from animals also. And it's not just a little bit of water, because they've got to grow from small creatures into bigger creatures. So everything that you see around you has used water in some way. So just by even being aware of that and having a look at things differently, you are appreciating water. And if you're appreciating water, then you're doing the right thing and you're starting to think about it, and that will become part of your life, and you won't just take water for granted as many people do. Many people just turn the tap on and they don't think about it. But if we are actually thinking about it, then we can appreciate it. But remember what I said, I'm not telling you that you can't eat. I'm just making you aware of the amount of water that's used in things. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. You're going to, you'll get one of these. You can download one of these from our website. It's a special sheet that gives you a plan for a menu. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to think about what you eat every day. And this is, again, just for awareness, but we're going to have a think about how much food we eat and how much water is involved in that food. Again, simply as an awareness of how much water we're using. So you'll have a set of cards that, again, you can download. Now, on these cards, there's different things that tell you how much water. For example, a slice of bread, 64 litres. Unbelievable. A carrot, 13.6 litres. A cob of corn, 122 litres. This one's a good one, a beef patty. So if you like a Big Mac or your McDonald's hamburger, the beef patty inside there, 3,000 litres it took to get that meat patty there. And you can't see the 3,000 litres. It's hard to believe. You can't see it there, but it had to grow in an animal to be able to get to that. Soya beans, 150 litres. Milk. A glass of milk, 255 litres. Why? Because the cow has got to eat and drink through its entire lifetime to be able to give you that milk. Quite incredible. The egg is unbelievable. Potatoes, 20 litres. So you're going to have a whole series of cards. Now you can download these cards, and they've got all sorts of different bits of food on them, and with the amount of water that is used to make those. Now what I need you to do is I need you to plan a meal. Now you can do this very simply. So we've got breakfast, lunch, snack and dinner. Now the snack might be afternoon tea, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to use the food to plan a breakfast. So up the top here we've got, now if you're thinking about, for example, the beef patty that's up here, that could be bacon or sausage as well. So if it's meat, then it could be a piece of meat. So on average, you can put a piece of meat in there. The bread is like toast or maybe a bread roll or something like that, a croissant. Brown rice, eggs. The soya beans could also stand for sort of other things as well, some vegetables. So other vegetables that might be here, use the soya bean as an example of that. There's different things along here, the glass of milk, a cup of coffee. You might use the cup of coffee, you might use that one also for a juice or something as well. So use that same amount. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go through here and put a tick against the things and write underneath them what you would do to make your breakfast meal. One that you'd normally have without any problems at all. So if you have an egg and a bit of bacon or a little sausage and a bit of toast and some jam and some milk and maybe a juice, work it all out through these, and then use your calculator, work it all out and work out how many litres you use for breakfast. And you might think about that and you might compare it. Now, once you've done the breakfast that you have, think about if you were having a breakfast maybe in another country that don't have the things we have, what might they use water, the amount of water they might use. So you might come up with a second breakfast option. Lunch, the same thing. Choose your lunch. So if you have a sandwich, you might have a couple of slices of bread. You might have some salad, which is there. You might have a piece of meat there. And you might have a juice or something, and use the milk as the juice example. Work it out again and get your total litres. When you come home from school of an afternoon, or maybe for morning tea when you have a snack, you might just have some crackers, some biscuits, and a bit of cheese or something. You can use the soya beans as crackers as well if you like. Use that as an example. And then make the list. And finally for dinner, when you sit down for your big meal at home tonight, when you're having whatever you're having, make sure you put in those. And then work out the total litres that you are eating every day. It's an interesting exercise. Now remember what I said, this is not about saying you can't eat food or you've got to stop eating this or stop eating that. It's about understanding how much water is in all those invisible things that we don't think about but we need every day. So the amount of water you use is really important. Now one other thing that I'd like you to do also is, I'd like you to go outside to the front of your house and find your water meter. Now the water meter is normally a little box, it might be in a concrete box, sitting close to your letterbox, somewhere out the front. Mum and Dad can help you. Go out, lift the lid off it carefully, and have a look inside, and you should find a little meter, a little metal piece. It's got a little lid, pop the lid up, and there'll be numbers on it. And those numbers will be ticking over, because that's the amount of water that's being used in your house. So what I'd like you to do is, pick a time of the day, and it might be the afternoon. You might go out, lift the lid up. Now be careful also when you lift that up, because there's sometimes ants and things in those boxes which can bite you. So make sure you stay away from the ants. Ask Mum or Dad to help you, or an older brother or sister, someone to help you to go out there and do it. Lift the lid up, get the numbers, write them down. Go on with all the things that you are doing during the day and the night and the next day, and then at the same time on the next day, go out to the box again, lift it up, and find out what the numbers are again. Do a little mathematics sum, subtract one from the other, minor sums, and you'll find out how much water your family has used in just one day. And you might be interested to find out, say, how much you've used in one day. At the moment, we're probably using somewhere between 150 and 180 litres of water per person per day. 150 to 180 of these. Now that's, a shower, flushing the toilet, using the kitchen sink, whatever. But if you use your water meter out the front, you'll be able to work out exactly how much your family has used for just one day. And then you might do a bigger sum, work out how much you use in a week, how much you use in a month, and how much you use in a whole year. And that's just a times table sum. Work it all out and write it all down so that you've got a bit of an idea of how much water your family uses. And then you might think about how you could save a bit of water. And if you talk to your family, and you might say, well, come up with the water saving ideas. You might say, well, we're going to have 4-minute showers. Make sure everyone has a 4-minute shower. We're going to turn the tap off when we clean our teeth to make sure there's less water being used. We're going to be careful when we use water in different other places. Use the half flush instead of the full flush in the toilet. Do all the things that you're supposed to do. Make sure you don't let the hose run when you're washing the car. All that sort of stuff. And read the meter again and see whether you can make a change in your family and how much water they use, because it all makes a difference. And if we all do our little bit, we can actually save water a lot, and that's a really important thing to do. So, how much water do you eat? I look forward to finding it out. Send us some of your information. You might like to take a copy of this or take a photo of it and email it to me. Michael is my name, and the email is education@seqwater.com.au, and we'll get some information. We'll put it up on the website, and we hope that we can share what different people are using and the way they save their water. So again, guys, I hope you've understood a little bit about how important water is in our lives again, and how we tend to overlook some things, but it's all part of the water story. And the more we can understand, the better we can look after our water, so we've got plenty of water for the future. It's a rare commodity, and we can't rely on the rain. So make sure we look after water, and we've got more for tomorrow. Michael from SEQ Water, signing off from Studio Water, and we'll catch you next time. See you later, guys.